Ever wondered why some people form deep, unbreakable connections, while others always seem to feel alone, even in a room full of friends? It's not luck, it's psychology. Today, I'm going to show you the exact psychological techniques used by charismatic leaders, therapists, and even master manipulators to create powerful emotional bonds. Use these for good, and watch your relationships transform. Now, I'm not talking about some hocus-pocus feel-good nonsense. I'm talking about real, scientifically backed strategies that tap into the core of human interaction. You see, connection isn't just something that happens, it's something you. And if you're tired of superficial acquaintances and longing for something more, then you've come to the right place. This isn't about changing who you are at your core. It's about understanding the mechanics of human bonding and learning how to use those tools effectively and ethically. Think of it like learning a new language, the language of deep connection. Once you understand the grammar and vocabulary, you can communicate on a level you never thought possible. We're going to break down these techniques step by step, so you can start implementing them in your own life today. Are you ready to stop feeling like an outsider and start building the kind of relationships that truly nourish your soul? Good, because it's time for a wake-up call about how connections are really made. The truth is, many of us go through life hoping for meaningful connections but not really knowing how to cultivate them. We wait for them to magically appear. But hope is not a strategy, people. Action is. The techniques we're about to discuss are powerful. They can build bridges, or if misused, they can be manipulative. That's why I'm emphasizing using them for good. My goal here, with Mahmoud Ghanem, is to empower you to build genuine, lasting bonds that enrich your life and the lives of those around you. So, pay close attention, because what you're about to learn can fundamentally change your social landscape for the better. First up, mirroring. It's subtle but powerful. When you reflect someone's body language, their posture, their hand gestures, their tone of voice, or even their breathing rhythm, their brain starts to think, this person gets me. This person is like me. Studies in neuroscience show that mirroring activates the brain's mirror neurons, which are critically tied to empathy and trust. It's like a silent handshake that tells the other person, I'm on your wavelength. It's not about mimicking them like a parrot, that's just going to look silly and inauthentic. It's about a gentle, natural reflection. Think about it. When you're really vibing with someone, when you're deep in conversation and everything just clicks, you'll often find yourselves naturally mirroring each other. One person leans in, the other leans in. One person smiles, the other reciprocates. This isn't accidental, it's a fundamental part of how we build rapport. Your brain is wired to seek out commonalities, to find those who are part of your tribe. Mirroring taps directly into this primal instinct, creating a sense of familiarity and safety almost instantaneously. It's a non-verbal cue that says, we're in sync. Now you might be thinking, Dr. Phil, this sounds a bit manipulative, and you're right. It'd be if your intention is to deceive, but we're talking about using this to build genuine connection. When you're genuinely trying to understand someone, when you're truly present in the conversation, mirroring often happens naturally. What we're doing here is bringing this subconscious process into your conscious awareness, so you can be more intentional about fostering that connection, especially in situations where rapport might not be forming as easily as you'd like. It's about enhancing genuine engagement. The key is subtlety. If someone crosses their arms, you might wait a few moments and then adopt a similar relaxed, crossed-arm posture. If they speak softly, you match their volume. If they use a particular turn of phrase or a certain cadence in their speech, you might subtly incorporate similar elements into your own. Here's a counterintuitive trick. Ask for a small favor. It sounds weird, right? You'd think doing favors others is how you get them to like you. But psychology calls this the Ben Franklin effect. When someone does a favor for you, even a minor one, their brain has to justify why they did it. And one of the easiest justifications is, well, I must like this person. I wouldn't do a favor for someone I didn't like. Suddenly they feel more invested in you, more positively inclined towards you. This phenomenon is rooted in the principle of cognitive dissonance. That's a fancy term for the discomfort we feel when our actions don't align with our beliefs or attitudes. If someone doesn't particularly like you, or is neutral towards you, and then they do you a favor, there's a mismatch. Their brain doesn't like that. So to reduce that dissonance, it's often easier for their brain to change their attitude, I guess I do like them after all, than to admit they did something for no good reason or for someone they dislike. It's a fascinating quirk of human psychology. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and ask for $100 or for someone to help you move a piano on the first meeting. That's not what this is about. The key here is favors. Could you pass me that napkin? Do you happen to know what time it is? Could you watch my bag for just a second while I grab a coffee? These are low-stakes requests. They require minimal effort from the other person, so they're likely to comply. And once they do, that little psychological switch can flip. Want a bond that feels deep and real, not superficial and transactional? Then you've got to stop faking perfection. Nobody's perfect, and trying to pretend you are just builds walls, not bridges. Vulnerability creates intimacy. When you share something real, something a little bit personal, something that shows you're human, and the other person responds with empathy and maybe even shares something of themselves in return, you create what's called a vulnerability loop. It's arguably the fastest way to make someone feel emotionally connected to you and you to them. Now let me be clear, vulnerability is not weakness. It takes courage to be open, to show your authentic self, flaws and all. And it's certainly not about oversharing or dumping all your emotional baggage on an unsuspecting stranger. That's not vulnerability, that's just making people uncomfortable. True vulnerability is about appropriate self-disclosure. It's about sharing your feelings, your uncertainties, your imperfections in a way that invites connection, not pity or discomfort. It's a measured reveal. Think of it as a dance. You take a small step by sharing something a little vulnerable. For example, you might say, "I was actually a bit nervous about coming to this event tonight." This is a small disclosure, it's relatable. Then you wait and see how the other person responds. If they respond with understanding, perhaps saying, "Oh, I get that, I was too," or, "Well, I'm glad you came," then the loop has begun. They've met your vulnerability with acceptance, or even their own vulnerability. This mutual exchange is what builds trust and closeness. The power of the vulnerability loop lies in its reciprocity. It signals trust. We bond through shared emotions, not just shared words. You can talk to someone for hours, but doing something together, especially something meaningful, memorable, or even a little challenging, can forge a lasting bond much more quickly and deeply. This is why friendships form during intense periods like school, basic training in the military, or even working together on a tough project at work, often feel so incredibly real and enduring. It's the power of shared experience. Think about it. When you go through something significant with another person, you create a shared history, a collection of common memories and emotions. Whether it's the joy of achieving a common goal, the frustration of overcoming an obstacle, or even the shared silliness of a funny mishap, these experiences become part of the unique tapestry of your relationship. They create an us that didn't exist before. These aren't just stories you tell. They're experiences you together. The intensity of the emotion often correlates with the strength of the bond. Overcoming a challenge together, for instance, can be incredibly powerful. Think about teams that win a championship, or colleagues who pull off a difficult project against all odds. The struggle, the effort, and the eventual triumph or even noble failure create a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect that's hard to replicate in ordinary, everyday interactions. You've seen each other under pressure, you've relied on each other, and you've come through it together. This doesn't mean you have to go climb Mount Everest with everyone you want to connect with. Shared experiences can be much simpler. It could be volunteering for a cause you both care about, taking a cooking class together, going on a road trip, tackling a difficult puzzle or an escape room, or even just regularly meeting for a walk or a coffee to discuss a book you're both reading. The key is that it's an engagement, something you are doing each other, not just each other. Why is this so effective? Because shared experiences provide a rich context for all the other bonding mechanisms to operate. You'll naturally find yourselves mirroring each other. There will be opportunities for small favors, the Ben Franklin effect in action. And the very nature of navigating new or challenging situations often calls for moments of vulnerability and mutual support. It's like a catalyst that accelerates the bonding process by providing fertile ground for connection to grow. So whether you want stronger friendships, a better relationship with your partner, or just deeper human connection in general, use these techniques with care and with genuine intention. Mirror them to build that initial subconscious rapport. Ask for those small favors to gently nudge their perception and investment. Show real, appropriate vulnerability to create that loop of trust and intimacy. And create moments that matter through shared experiences. Because the deepest connections aren't built by chance, they're built with intention, with understanding, and with a little bit of psychological know-how. These aren't magic tricks, folks, they're tools. And like any tool, their effectiveness depends on how you use them, and more importantly, you're using them. If your goal is genuine connection, to understand and be understood, to build relationships based on mutual respect and care, then these psychological principles can be incredibly powerful allies. It's about being more aware, more intentional, and more skilled in the art of human connection, something Mahmoud Ghanem is passionate about helping you achieve. If you found this valuable, if this gave you some aha moments or some practical strategies you can use, then do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe for more insights, and share it with someone you want to build a stronger connection with. And let me know in the comments, which of these techniques resonated with you the most? Which one are you going to try first? Because learning is one thing, but doing is where the real change happens. Get out there and start building those unbreakable bonds.